Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be ranking all of my Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. I've already done this with my Pat McGrath and my Natasha Denona palette, so if you want to see those videos, I will leave them linked down below for you. But today we're doing Anastasia Beverly Hills, and for whatever reason, I thought that anything after Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona was just going to be easier. Like, it was just going to be a walk in the park. I could easily rank anything, and I'm looking at several different brands thinking, I don't know if I can do this anymore. So I started grabbing my Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. I was putting them out on my table, and I can't tell you how many times I rearranged them. I was going back and forth, and I even had it set, like, oh, this is it. And I went back today and I rearranged them again. I don't know why it is so hard for me, but like there's so many factors. Like, which ones do I use the most? Which ones do I think that are the prettiest? Which ones do I think are the most unique? There's so many factors that go into it. So without further ado, I'm going to get into this. And I'm going to start off with my least favorite to my favorite. I want to challenge you guys to see just how well you think you know me. Don't cheat, pause the video, and let me know which one you think is my least favorite and my favorite. I have everything that I'm going to be talking about in the description box. I don't have them in order because I don't want anybody to know how this is going to go. I have them all there though, so if you want to see which ones I have in my collection and tell me which one's my favorite and which one's going to be my least favorite, just comment down below. But just so you guys know, I like all of these palettes. I generally just don't keep palettes that I do not enjoy. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. So the bottom of the barrel, I still like it, but it's the bottom of the barrel, and you'll see that I haven't used this one as much, is the Prism palette. It looks amazing with my nails though, doesn't it? I don't even remember when this came out, but I loved the color story of this. And I think the color story speaks to me more than what I actually use it. And I need to look, again, nails and this color right here. This is such a beautiful palette. I love the colors in here. I love Throne. Throne is so good. This shade right here all over the eye for a smoky eye with this in the corner, kind of like one of the recent tutorials I did. So beautiful. There's so many different looks that you really can create with this palette, but it can also be a little bit overwhelming as well. And I think you have to be in the mood for something dark. You're not really going to get too many looks out of this that are going to be softer unless you just take, I don't know, this one right here and that's it, or maybe a little bit of Lucid. But generally speaking, you're gonna get more of a louder or darker type of look with this, which I don't mind at all. I think it's beautiful. It's just the one that I grabbed for the least out of the bunch. Still like it though. That one was number 12. This is number 11, and it goes to the Alyssa Edwards palette. This one and the Riviera, I had to go back and forth with. I was like, I don't know which one, and then it hit me, and I'll tell you why. This is a beautiful palette. So this is number 11, and then number 10 is the Riviera. So when I was going and I was looking at both of these palettes, Riviera, Alyssa Edwards, both of them are definitely loud. They have a lot of color to them. They're a lot of fun. But if I'm going to pick up one of these two for a colorful look, it's going to be the Riviera. I love the colors up here. Those metallic shades are so beautiful. I think there's more mattes in the Alyssa Edwards. Let me count and make sure. Yes, there are more mattes in the Alyssa Edwards. I think I appreciate the combo of the two in the Riviera. And then again, the colors are just a little bit more subdued. So you can have a colorful look, but then you can also have just like, I don't know, like this shade here, this blue right here is more of like a gray blue, so it's not as loud. And then you have this one, and you've got a white in both of these. Really, either one of them are going to tickle your fancy if you're somebody who likes color. But if I had to pick between them, it's going to be this one. There's just something that's just so beautiful about it. And this color right here, Seychelles, oh, it is gorgeous. So number 11 and number 10, Alyssa Edwards and Riviera. Number 9 is probably going to shock some of you, especially if you have not heard me say this before, but number 9 for me, I know this is like people's holy grail palette, and I'm sorry, but this is just for me. The Modern Renaissance, I love this palette. I think it's beautiful. It works so well. The colors are gorgeous. When I'm looking at this palette, I think, oh, I love this, but I don't reach for it. I really don't reach for it. I love this shade right here. Basically, when I would pick up this palette is because I wanted this one. Now there's a lot more palettes that have those mauvey and purple tones in there that I really enjoy. And I do like this. I don't want anybody to get me wrong because I do like this. It's just that it's not one that I ever really got on board with to the point that I was using it all the time, where I know some people have gone through this palette and have picked up another one. I think it's gorgeous. It works really well. I never really truly fell hard for it. So I like it, but it is number 9. The next one, number 8, is a more recent release, and it is the Amrezy palette. I don't know why I have to say it like that. It's like I have to give it a little zhuzh. I mean, Amrezy, whatever. It has zhuzh all in of itself, but I just want to add that little tongue roll into it. This is a beautiful palette, and it's the perfect balance of like natural and glitter and metallic and color. I believe this is the only Anastasia Beverly Hills palette that has the glitter in there. I think. I'm pretty sure it is. And I think that she did such a good job with this one. It's kind of like a mixture of soft glam, modern renaissance, there's something else. But what makes this one so special for me is this shade Barb. I could have an entire palette of Barb. Just give me all the Barb. See if I can get a little swatch in here with my big old nails. This is what it looks like. I can't get enough of the shade. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I have actually gone to town on this. This is so pretty. I could have this on right now. Why didn't I put Barb on? I love this purple, the shades down here. It's just, I like the little piece of modern renaissance in here with these shades. I think that's what I like about it. It's like what everybody else loved about modern renaissance with a little extra zhuzh to it. Because I mean, like I said, Amrezy, zhuzh, she's everything. This palette is just beautiful. And I have grabbed for this several times. And I really like the glitter. Let me do Liddy. These actually stay on my eyes. No glitter adhesive or anything. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. I went back and forth between this palette and the one that I'm wearing right now on my eyes. Just like back and forth, like which one do I want to wear today? And I landed on the other one, but this Carli Bybel, she did such a good job with this one. I can really see her whenever I look at this palette, and I love that. When I look at a palette and I can see the creator behind it, it really, it's like I don't even care what the colors are. If I can see the person in it, I just have a lot of appreciation for that because I know that they didn't just slap their name on something and that they worked hard and they put something that they love out there. And I really feel like she did that with this. I can just see her. I just see her so much with it. And what I love are all the cool tones and the mixtures of the warmth. I am such... that gets me every single time. If you have a cool tone palette with a little bit of warmth, it's just like, yes, you've got me. And this is a little softer. It's like you can have it a little darker, but it's still softer and just beautiful. This one right here, can you see the reflect of that? What color is that? Mandala. Oh, they're so pretty. And then this shade right here has these little flecks in there, and it's just, oh my gosh, it just radiates all over. This with this shirt would have been absolutely gorgeous. But again, I went for the other one. It's a little higher on the list. This palette is perfection. I can do so many different looks with this. I can get a beautiful gold eye. I can get this beautiful periwinkle blue. I can get purple. I can get the reddish pinks and the peaches. There's just so much variety in here. I really, truly enjoy it. Speaking of purple, the Norvina palette. You have to see this in person and truly play with it to really grasp how beautiful this palette is. I did several different looks with this palette. This has gone through the ringer. This speaks to me on a whole nother level. And I know that now that the seasons are changing, it's warming up, I'm gonna be grabbing for this again. I love these tones. I love the purples. I love the cool tones. I love this shade. You'll see me point out different variants of this shade. This one is a matte shade. It's the shade Soul. And it's just, look, it's like my shirt. It is so pretty. I love it so much. I know some people thought that this palette was not purple enough or not different enough, but I'm telling you that seeing it in person and using it and just really getting your hands in this will change your mind. It has something that's just special about it. The shades in here are like pastels with some depth. And then of course you have some other colors in here that are deeper in general, but the shades like the purples, the pinks, this shade down here, this one here, they all just are slightly pastel, but with some color to them. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's just something truly special about this. And I think that Norvina did such an amazing job with this. I would love to see round 2 for the Norvina palette. Norvina, if you're listening, round 2, please. Just for me, please. Be prepared to be mad at me. I know, this is a very controversial palette. You guys already know what I'm about to say. It's polarizing. People either love it or hate it. I feel like there's almost no in-betweens with this. As you can see, mine is a little funky. This is the Subculture palette, and I struggled with where I wanted to put this. I almost put it at my number 2, but then I had to consider the fact that there are issues with the palette, being that they're so soft. I have the original one. I think that they repressed it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that they redid it and pressed them a little bit harder. I think. Just let me know down below. Now I really need to know because I think that mine has gone off. That's a whole nother story I will tell you in just a second. But anywho, this is my number 5. And like I said, it would have been higher on my list because the colors, this palette was before its time. I don't remember seeing a lot of this. This is like this grungy, beautiful teals and the maroons and the grays and just, it's such a grungy, gorgeous palette. Oh, it's so good. And this yellow, the mustard, I love this. The color scheme in here is amazing. If this was just the traditional formula that Anastasia is known for, it would have been higher on the list, but I have to take into account that it is a little bit more difficult to use. You have to use more of like a stamping motion. You have to be a little bit more careful with it. You dip your brush into this and you do not, don't go digging, and you don't need to grab too much. And you want to use tapping motions. This is not a beginner-friendly palette. I believe I said it in my video when I first got this palette that if you want to use this and you are a beginner, don't go in with multiple shades because you're going to have troubles with it. As I started to say earlier, but then said I would tell you guys later, I think my palette has gone bad. It does have a 6-month shelf life. I've never had a palette go bad before, not just Anastasia, but any of my palettes that I've had in my collection. I shop my stash all the time, and I pick up palettes and I use them and I don't have any issues with them. However, I went to go do this video yesterday and I wanted to wear this palette on my eyes. And it was going on, everything was fine until I hit this shade right here. What is that one? Axis. And my eyes started to burn. I was having issues and then I was like, it's okay. And I went in with this one here and it started to get a little worse. And I noticed that it just wasn't working the same as it did previously. So I went and I washed off my face and my eyes were actually like red. My daughter thought I was crying, and then I got closer. She goes, "It's like your eyes are purple or something." I was like, they hurt. They actually hurt. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be using this palette again, this exact one, but I will be repurchasing it because again, I just think it's unique. I know we have more things on the market now, but this is just kind of like an Anastasia Beverly Hills icon to me. Subculture. It's one of those things. Again, you love it or you hate it, and I just happen to love it. Now we are getting into the nitty gritty, my top 4. Number 4 is what I have on my eyes right now. And again, this top 4, I kept moving them around and then I was taking Subculture in and out. I had a hard time, you guys. I had a hard time, but I took some things into consideration. This was almost number 3, but I realized that I used my number 3, that's actually the number 3, more than I do this one, which was surprising because I adore the cool tones in here with a pop of coral. This sultry palette. Again, this is what I am wearing. What do I have on? So I have on Twig Dystopian. I have Bloom right underneath my lower lash line. I have on Rose Quartz, Pearl, and Fresh. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I live for these cool tones and a little bit of neutral, and then that just splash of warmth. This right here does it for me. I think that I wouldn't be as excited about it without this in there. I know that sounds silly, and some people have said, oh, I just wish that color was taken out, Bloom. No, for me, it makes the palette. It just adds that little something that if you wanted to change up a look, you can. And I appreciate it so much. And this is an everyday wear palette, and this is also a going out palette. This is a work appropriate palette. This is everything all in one. And you just don't see too many that have this many cool tones in it. Like this right here, if I wanted, like this is the ultimate smoky eye right here, like this. But then if you wanted to add that punch of color, this, oh, so pretty. Let me swatch Cyborg for you guys because this silver is phenomenal. You see that? It's pretty. That's not even wet. Not even wet. I just drug it down my hand like that. Gorgeous. The palette that beat Sultry only because I use it more, because aesthetically looking at them, if I was going to pick one, it would be Sultry. But I use Soft Glam more than I do the Sultry, and it's because of the variety that you have in here. This one is definitely warmer toned, but you can still get some neutral looks in here, and it's just very, very everyday. Again, it's in the name, Soft Glam. I feel like every time I say that now when I'm like describing a look, it's a soft glam look. I just think of this palette. You have such beautiful soft tones in here, and then the depth to add. If you wanted to create, say, something like this, you can just take Cypress Umber, or if you want to be really bold, go in with Noir and really smoke something out. But overall, this is just a soft glam palette, and you can use these as well to do a liner, a smoky liner. I love that look. Doing anything over here and then taking and smudging out a black shadow for a liner, I just think it's sexy. There's just something sexy about it. I think people were a little underwhelmed whenever this came out, but then when people started getting their hands on it and playing with it, it truly became like the new modern renaissance. It's the new it palette, and I can totally see why. Number 2, I don't think this palette gets enough love. And I also would not be mad if they made this permanent, because I feel like it deserves to be permanent. It is that good. I am talking about the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina. This palette from box to cover to inside, this is it. This is it. I have no complaints. It's this colorful palette that is still wearable, and it's fun. This makes me feel creative. I feel so inspired looking at this, and I just feel like, why aren't we seeing more of this? I want this to be permanent. I am here for it. I'm here for the Norvina 2, and I'm here for this being permanent, as well as the next one I'm going to talk about, but I'm talking about this palette right here. I could not have asked for a more well-rounded color palette. It's just, I have no words other than perfection. I wouldn't change anything about it. This is going to work for everybody unless you just don't like a lot of pigment or a lot of color. This will work on everybody. She did a phenomenal job. The quality of this is amazing. The colors are amazing. The packaging is amazing. I can't. I have no other words than, Jackie, you did the damn thing. Yes. Yes, you did. And I think we should all know by now what my number 1 Anastasia Beverly Hills palette is. It still has yet to be beat after all these years, and this still works because I do grab for it. I just do it off camera because I feel bad. The Master Palette by Mario. We can just go ahead and make this permanent as well. Just go ahead and do it. This, I remember not wanting this. I remember not caring about it, looking at it and being like, boring. I wouldn't look at this now and think that, but I was, I would think I was a little bit more into color and things like that back then. And I I only got this to do a review on it, and I was shocked. I was shocked. This, I don't know how to describe it because, you know, traditional Anastasia metallics are a little bit more intense. These are a little bit more soft, but they're still very smooth. You can still tell that they have a metallic sheen to them, but they're more wearable. And then the colors of this, all season long appropriate, work appropriate, dance floor appropriate. It's just sophisticated, and it's funny because, you know, you see all these palettes coming out with Kim Kardashian and then her collaboration with Mario, and all I think is this palette is what I would put on Kim's face. this one right here. I'm running out of words. I love that it has the greens, the slate blue, the browns, the oranges, and they're all like these just slightly tweaked shades. So they're not too orange or too blue, or they're not too intense. They're this sophisticated, subtle, beautiful, this arrangement is amazing. I want them to bring this back so bad, and I've been saying that. I don't think it'll happen. I have no other words. Number one, this is yet to be beat. I will say that if I could have it my way and have a tie, I would. It would be, this is the number one neutral, and this is the number one for the colorful. So it's my video. It's a tie. These are tied for number one. They are perfection. Nothing I would change about either of them other than the fact that they are limited edition. Anywho, you guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what's your favorite and least favorite of all the Anastasia palettes. I love you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.